Hello, welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to the Boring Company, and I'm back with another quarterly review. It is that time of year when we look at all the projects that are currently being considered for the Boring Company, are either achieving planning permission or looking to go in for planning permission, or have fallen by the wayside, as have many of these projects. But lots and lots of good news this quarter, and I'm going to analyse all these projects and tell you what I think is going to happen with them in the short to medium to long term. So, quite a lot to look at. So let's blow this up. Okay, so first of all the focus for the Boring Company at this very moment in time is in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is doing extremely well. Very, very well. Let me undo that. Okay, so the Chicago Express Loop is the first project on our list. That was proposed, it was more than a year, I think it was more than 2 years ago now, nearly 2 years ago when this was actually proposed. As you are aware, the mayor of Chicago at the time, Rahm Emanuel, left office. In came Miss Lightfoot, who has really done quite a bad job in Chicago, and unfortunately one of her many mistakes was that she basically mothballed this project. It is a fascinating project. It has a really excellent use case linking the centre of Chicago to the airports. It would have been very well utilised by very many passengers, very many tourists, and obviously a lot of business people who are moving in and between the city and the airport, and probably would have been expanded as well once it had been completed. So it's an absolutely great shame that that has happened, but that's how it is, unfortunately. So $358 million, 2 tunnels in total. Those tunnels combined is 33.92 miles. So that's what I do on this quarterly review. I combine the total length of tunnels so that we get a more accurate picture of what the actual what actually gets constructed, rather than the actual route miles, more as if the actual construction length. Okay, so I think the probability of completion on this is really dropped quite drastically over the last 12 months. I think I'm being quite generous with 2.2%. So at some point this may end up getting crossed off the list, which will really break my heart. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because we have these other projects. The Las Vegas Convention Center Loop, Las Vegas, Nevada, is under construction, is over 80% complete. I will analyse that project at the end of this session. Not to worry, I've just got to go through all these other projects. 100% chance of completion. It's a fantastic starter project for the Boring Company. It's the perfect length, it's the perfect cost, it's the perfect level of complexity, not too difficult, not too hard. There's a lot of lessons that they can learn from building this system that they can then utilize on other systems, adapt the processes, refine them, evolve the machine to Godot Plus to Proofrock, and then moving forward move that onto other jobs. So that's 100% probability of completion, and it will be completed before the 5th of January, well before the 5th of January. San Jose Airport, California. This has really kind of fallen off the radar. It's a real shame because this has a great use case. It links the airport to the local train station, which is really booming. In fact, both are doing very, very well. So interlinking those two transport hubs is an absolutely easy decision. It is, it just makes perfect sense to do that. There's money to be made doing that. It's going to make travel more convenient for millions of people, and therefore it should be built. And the cost per mile is next to nothing. I mean, 90 million. These days, when you look at the amount of money that people are spending on various other schemes, it's peanuts. Again, due to the coronavirus and due to the current situation we're in at the moment, in terms of we are just coming out of what would be considered quite a shallow, well, it's a short recession. No, it's not shallow, is it? It was a very, very deep recession, but a very quick kind of flash recession. And obviously there's a lot of people in a lot of trouble. A lot of local authorities are struggling. I don't think the probability of completion for this job is that high, but I do like it very much. Okay. Hawthorne Test Tunnel, that was already completed. You don't need me to tell you much about that. That is the only job that will have been built using the original Godot TBM. We have the Dugout Loop in Los Angeles. Again, this has kind of fallen by the wayside. It was going to link the baseball stadium to the one of the metro stops. Makes perfect sense. Has an excellent use case. Can be built with one tunnel to begin with, so it's going to be cost effective. Throughput's quite low, but at the end of the day, that can be drastically expanded by adding an extra tunnel, which wouldn't really cost that much money when you consider the cost of other schemes in LA, and it would help reduce congestion and increase the number of people going to watch the baseball. So again, I really hope that gets built, and hopefully it will get built. Hopefully. So, what am I doing now? There we go, we'll go back to this. So, these are the key projects at the moment, the ones that I'm most excited about. It is Resorts World Las Vegas, yeah? So, excited about this project, very, very much so. It's a short project. It's more of a kind of a short extension of the existing Las Vegas Convention Center loop. It doesn't directly connect to it, but it goes from that location. Negotiations are still underway. However, it is in the best interests of Resorts World Las Vegas, which I presume its opening has been postponed because of the current situation. So they could potentially start construction of this maybe in February, or maybe before the start of summer. And that would be really useful for them, because then they'd have a direct transport link to the convention center. Lots of people are using the convention center and also staying in this hotel. I'm confident they'll be using a Godot Plus for that one. Throughput will be quite low, but it is only a single tunnel. Remember that. That's all the client wanted. The client only wanted a single tunnel. He didn't want a high throughput system. He just wanted something that would work well for his casino. So they'd have convoys of cars and then they shoot it through. And the same goes for the Encore Wynn Casino in Nevada. Again, it's very, very similar project. Single tunnel, slightly longer, slightly more expensive, but the actual cost per mile is actually lower because there's more tunnel and less percentage of the cost is the actual stations at either end and the launch pits. Same throughput. Both these projects I've put down as a 97 to 96% probability of completion. So, Ontario Airport Loop, California. Again, this is another one, a new one that's been proposed. Makes perfect sense. It's going up north. It's going to be a reasonably short route, but again, it's a lot longer than what's being built in Las Vegas. So it's definitely going to be a bit more of a test for the Boeing company, but I suspect that they will easily destroy that mileage in a very short period of time once they've refined Godot. I really am quite excited about this project. Since Chicago's kind of fallen by the wayside, this has become my kind of real project that kind of inspires me to keep making videos on the Boeing company. It's the perfect use case. Vehicles are going to be able to get up to very high speeds. Potentially, they could run vehicles in platoons as well, which is going to increase the efficiency dramatically. And you've got high speeds, high efficiency, and low fare costs. That is going to get people very, very excited. I've reduced the probability of completion because just in this current climate, it's very difficult to say exactly what's going to be happening. Is it going to get delayed? Are they going to try and refine the design a bit more? I don't know at this very moment in time, but I suspect that this could hopefully get started in under 12 months. Hopefully. To do that, the Boeing company would need another machine. The Baltimore, Washington, D.C. loop is an absolute monster of a project. Really very excited about this one. To make a success of this project, really they need their own autonomous electric vehicle, as per my last video. That is likely to happen, although it's still kind of very little is in the media about this particular project. I suspect negotiations are going quite well at the moment, but again, it is probably going to be quite a while before we see any kind of start on this project. Maybe 18 months, maybe slightly less, maybe 14 months. Fremont Supply Tunnel, California. This is a theoretical project that has been proposed. With what's happened with Tesla Battery Day and the new 4680 cells, highly likely that there is going to be an opportunity for acquiring land in California for battery production to serve the Fremont factory. That possibly might evolve into a supply tunnel for batteries going to Fremont. It might end up being totally different in terms of length and scope. I'm not aware of the situation in terms of acquiring industrial land in Fremont. Is there actually that much there in and around the factory? But if they could acquire a decent parcel of land, over 1 million square foot, potentially, or even just 800,000 square foot, they could build a tunnel, they could supply the 4680 cells. That is going to make absolutely perfect sense to have your battery production within, a mile of your Fremont factory, and then you can just send it via conveyor belt in a single tunnel. That's an absolute no-brainer, really, and hopefully that will happen very, very soon. Okay, so we've got to the end of our list of what I would consider serious projects. We're on to the rejects. I'm going to start removing some of these over the next 2 or 3 quarters because I think that, they're probably not going to happen. Blue Mountain Crossing is never, ever going to happen. I don't know why it was proposed. I really don't understand what the tunnel is actually linking and what they expect, how they expect it to make money. Certainly in the short to medium term. So I'm going to say that's a very, very small percentage of completion, 0.0002%. The Israel loop was proposed by Benjamin Netanyahu, who's literally hanging via a thread at the moment in Israel. I don't think he will be around for much longer. The project was just proposed as an idea, and they didn't even tell us much about it. So I think if I don't hear anything about that after Christmas or before Christmas, that is going to get removed from our list. The CERN particle accelerator could happen, but again, with the current situation that we're in, and really, is this a project that people want to be spending money on? It depends on a lot of other people agreeing that they want to spend the money on this. Obviously, it certainly has very beneficial implications if it is built for science, and certainly in terms of physics and understanding how the world came about. I support the project. I really hope that it does get built, but at the end of the day, it's a huge project. It's got a massive price tag, and really, are they going to build this? I don't know. It's unlikely we're going to hear anything about this project for a good 3 years, I would imagine. Okay, so let's have a look at our outlook for Las Vegas. This, of course, Las Vegas Convention Center. This is the most important project the Boeing company has ever worked on, and they are due to complete it before the first day of the year, basically. So if we just minimize that a little bit, I'll tell you what we'll do. Okay, so what is going on at this moment in time? Put that down there. Okay, so pretty much self-explanatory what's happened since we last spoke. Obviously, Tunnel A was completed, and Tunnel B as well went through in record time. Look at the progress in terms of Tunnel A compared to Tunnel B, how much improvement they made in terms of actually boring the tunnel and building it in a much quicker fashion. That's great to see. They're constantly learning. What has also happened since we last spoke, the road deck was completed in Tunnel A, so they poured an in-situ concrete road deck and compacted that, and then again they did the same thing in Tunnel B. So the tunnels themselves are essentially completed. As far as I'm aware, all the lighting has gone in, things like ventilation ducts and that sort of things, fire suppression systems, they have also gone in and been installed. Station 1 has progressed very, very nicely since we last spoke. They've actually started construction of the station canopy now. As of, I believe, on Friday, they started building it. So that has gone extremely well. So we should definitely celebrate.
Wow!
You know, great stuff. Great stuff. So, what else is going on? Well, our underground station, Station 2, has been going really, really well. As you can see, that is probably the most progressed station at the moment. They have they've covered the top of the station with the concrete planks. All the trusses were installed. They poured the foundations around the perimeter of that excavation, so that was completed. I presume that at some point they're going to tarmac over the top of the station, and then it'll just essentially look like a car park with an elevator at one end and an escalator. So that hopefully should get completed before the first week of December. In terms of Station 3, we haven't really got any good pictures of Station 3, but people have told me that they are progressing just as quickly at Station 3 as they are at Station 1. So it looks like we will start to see the canopy being completed this month. By the end of the month, they should hopefully have assembled the full frame, and the roof will probably go on in early November, and then they will finish fitting out the station. It's there's nothing that difficult about that station canopy and the actual specifications of the construction system for that canopy and everything in and around the station. So I can't really anticipate them having any kind of serious delays, and any kind of delays would only be a few days anyway. So it's not really a big issue in my mind. Okay, so that's great news. So what else needs to be done? Well, the next stage obviously is calibrating the vehicles. So I think a round of applause is due for the Boeing company for getting this far. That's really great to see. The next stage obviously is going to be here. So we've got to calibrate the vehicles. We've got to calibrate that you can move 2,000 people per hour, 3,100 people per hour, 4,200 people per hour. And that's going to occur the last week of November. Then as we go into December, first 2 weeks of December we're going to calibrate for 3,100, and then towards Christmas time we're going to end up calibrating for the full 4,200. So that's great news. That's great news. Everything has progressed extremely well, better than I could have expected. I anticipated more delays than there were already, considering that the project really did struggle at the beginning. But all in all, you know, really, really great news that this has gone as well as it has gone. So, you know, wow, it's great. Wow. You know, wow. Okay, guys, so that is the quarterly review. We've discussed the whole set of projects that the Boeing company are working on. All in all, the company is progressing really, really well. Don't let anyone tell you that the Boeing company is not progressing very, very well. As you can see by what I've, you know, presented today, there's lots and lots of good news. There's some bad news, but there's more good news than bad news. Overall, the project in Las Vegas is being expanded. Once these extensions go to Resorts World and the Wynn Casino, it will then be extended down the strip, and then we'll start to see lots and lots of tunnels going across Las Vegas, followed by other projects such as the one in Ontario, and likely as well maybe we might see something like the San Jose Airport or the Dugout Loop start construction as well. Maybe the Baltimore Washington DC Loop. Okay, so that's that. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you watching the video. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions about what I've presented today, please put them in the comments below. I will put a link to this document as well, so you can have a look at it and analyze it and tell me what you think about it, and tell me about any improvements that I should make to it for next time. Okay, guys, thank you so much, and remember, don't be boring. We'll see you on the next one.